In the last video, we were able to cover setting up the hosting account for the domain that was registered. So in essence, if you have done everything correctly, you only need to wait. Sometimes it's immediate, but usually you only need to wait 24 to 48 hours for the DNS setting to take effect, and you have a website. So following the steps that has been shown in previous videos, I've been able to host a domain, and that domain is incomeworkshop.ca. So I was able to host this domain, which by now you should be able to do by yourself following this video series. Once you are able to log into a browser and you type in the domain that you hosted, and you can see the domain like you are seeing here, it means that you have successfully hosted a website. But what are you doing in this video? In this video, we are actually going to build a site on top of this domain very quickly. Now, don't forget, the reason why you are in business as a web host is to provide hosting services for people, which means you want people to put their websites on your servers and pay you a monthly rental. And in order for that to happen, you have to convince yourself and also be able to let your customers know that they can actually successfully host their website, or they can actually make their website go live on your servers. So what we are going to do now is I'm going to show you how you can build a website on the domain that you just registered. So we'll do that very quickly, and then you see a website come live on this domain. And what we are going to do here is that we are just going to install WordPress on this website, and we are going to use WordPress to build a site. Now, if you are interested in learning how to build websites very quickly with WordPress, then you probably want to see a full tutorial done on using WordPress. But this is just going to be a very quick guide into using WordPress to build a site, so that you can see that truly your customers can actually host their websites with you, and then you can get paid per month. Now, once you have hosted a domain on your servers, it is your responsibility to provide your clients with their login credentials. Don't forget, in the first instance where you worked on the admin of your site, the provider where you got your server from gave you your login credentials. You have to do that to your customers as well. So once you have hosted a customer, it is your responsibility to tell the customer how to access their website and how to access their control panel. Now, CWP, the control panel that we just worked with, has a wonderful system where each customer you host on your servers has its own, or each account has its own separate login where the sites can be managed. Now, you get to understand this very shortly, but just follow. Now, so when you host a customer, you have to provide the credentials of that server to the customer. For example, for this website, here are the login credentials. You have the domain, which is incomeworkshop.click. You have the login URL where people can actually access their control panel, and it's at cpanel.incomeworkshop.click. And then you have the username, which is this, and of course you have the password to that website. Now, these are the details that your customers need in order to log into and access their websites. Now, for a small web hosting provider that has just a handful of customers, you can just send this information by email to your customers and let them know that, oh, your account is ready. Here are your login credentials. But as your needs begin to grow, you need a control panel to manage things like this. We'll talk about billing and control panel systems later in this course. Right now, let's build a website using these login information. So what we are going to do is we are going to go to this login URL, which is cpanel.incomeworkshop.click. So I'm just going to retype this and do HTTPS, and I'm going to do cpanel.incomeworkshop.click. Now, every customer you have, every site you host, every domain you host will have a control panel like this where they can log into. So essentially, the other control panel where you worked with is like the super administrator where everything can be controlled. But each customer, each domain you host will now have an account where they can log in to manage their website. So I'm going to get the password, the username of this, and then the password. And once you do that, you would be able to log into the control panel of this domain, and you can start building out your website. So every customer you have will now have a control panel like this where they can administer their website. So they can do things like, if you scroll down a little bit, they can do things like change the PHP version of their sites. Remember, in one of the previous videos, we talked about having multiple PHP versions installed. Your customer can decide to change the PHP version by going to the PHP selector, and then they can pick based on the PHP versions that you have already installed. Your customer can now decide to choose what their site is, and then they can decide to choose what PHP version they want. So you can decide to say, oh, I want PHP 7.3, I want PHP 7.4, I want PHP 8.1. You have already provided that, because this is one thing that your customers will ask of you. This is one thing they will demand from you. We'll talk about this later when we get into resolving client issues and problems when it comes to your web hosting business. So what we want to do here, of course, you are not limited to this. If you go back to the dashboard, you have emails. Your customers can create emails on their accounts. They can use their file manager. They can do FTP. They can do all of those things. So if they need to create emails, they can create emails on their account. If they need to do DNS zone functions or edit DNS, they can do all of that. But what we want to do right now is that if you go to if you go to incomeworkshop.click right now, you would see that this website right now has nothing on it, just this welcome page, which you can decide to customize if you want. But this welcome page is what they get. Now, what you want to do now is, just as a test in this video, we want to install WordPress on this site. So this CWP control panel comes with an automatic script installer, which you can use to do this. So all you need to do is scroll down to add-ons and then do installed, or you go to scripts. Sorry, if you come to add-ons, you go to scripts, and then you'll be able to install. Or you can also come here under the navigation on the side, just click on it to reveal what's inside, and then you go to scripts. Once you get to scripts, you have different kinds of scripts that you can automatically install on your site. So this is a free script installer for you. You can do SMF, you can do Magento, you can do any of all these can be installed for you on your site. But I'm just going to go with WordPress, and I'm going to do install. Now, once you choose to install on WordPress, you are confronted with this screen that asks you some information about how you want WordPress to be installed. Now, WordPress is it's like a content management system that you can use to build up your website. And most people use WordPress to build sites. So if you can offer this, then you have a simple choice for your customers to build out their sites, even if they are not technical people. And this would really help you later when you begin to sell your services. It will really go a long way to help you sell your services very, very quickly. And we'll get to that when we get to marketing. Now, under domains, what you want to do is you want to pick the domain name. And then if you want WordPress to be installed directly on the front page of your website, then you leave this space blank. But if you want WordPress to be installed in a subdirectory, which means, let's assume I put in here test, then it means for me to access that part of my website, I have to do a /test right here. I'm just going to go directly into the public directory of the site, so that I'm not going to do any slash. Then you give your site a title, a test site, and then you give your site a description, web hosting business. Okay, let's see web hosting. And then you choose your admin, your username. I'm just going to go with admin. Of course, you don't want to do admin. Everybody does admin. You don't want to do admin. And then you choose a password for your site. It's important that you choose a password that is strong. So I'm just going to ask, WordPress to generate passwords for me. And once I do that, you would see a password will be generated. I'm going to just copy that password and keep somewhere, because I'm going to need that password. Then of course you put in your email address. It's important. The email address you put in will be used for things like password recovery and things like that. So you want to put in an email address. So you put that in right there. And then of course there will be a password generated for your database, but then these are advanced settings. You may leave all of this blank and just allow the installer to take care of all of this. Now, if you want the installer to automatically install a website designed for you automatically, you can pick from any of these free themes, and this is what will be on your website automatically. I'm not going to pick any of these. I'm just going to skip that section for now, so I can show you how to do that later. And I'm just going to go down, and I'm going to go right ahead and click install. Oh, sorry, you can see there's an error. So it requires I put in at least my email address. So I'm just going to do my email address, hello@softwaresquad.com. Okay, so now I check if there's nothing else I have missed out. Then I go ahead and I do an install. And then once I go ahead to say install, it asks me to confirm if I should proceed with that installation. And then if I feel okay, I'm okay with everything, I click to continue. And then it asks me, okay, the installation part is set to empty. This will, okay, I just go ahead and continue, and then WordPress will begin to install. It's as simple as that. So what we have done right now is that we have been able to start with a blank web hosting server that was purchased. We registered a domain, and now we have hosted that domain, and now we are building a website on that domain. Now, once you can do this, it means you can satisfy your customers. And then in the next video, we're going to take this installation. It's installing right now. I'm not going to wait for it to complete. We're going to take this installation in the next video, and then we're going to now build a website on this domain, this site, and then you see how it is. And once that has been done, it means that you can start taking customers. That's the meaning. And then we'll now go into you building your business and how you can build out a business that can have an MRR, that's a monthly residual income of between 60 to 100,000 naira in your first 90 days of running a business like this. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.